What's up guys, Chris here with part 1 of the Windows XP ATI All-in-Wonder build, which really isn't a computer build considering I'm just shoving parts into a pre-built computer, but let's not get into details, this is already starting to get crazy. Right, in case you missed video 0 on it, which yes, I did a video 0 on this, simply put, I'm going to shove this video card into this computer and see what happens. This is a circa 2004 Windows XP machine. Pentium 4 class processor. I checked the RAM, it's actually 1 gig, so that should be alright, space. System's missing a hard drive, and it's got a FX 5200 graphics card in there right now. So I'll swap that out for the All-in-Wonder in the AGP slot. So first things first, after I filmed the last video, it's actually uploading right now, I started to decide, okay, let's go on and check out that computer and rip out the hard drive. Turns out the hard drive is Serial ATA. That's a slightly newer machine. It's about Windows Vista era, excuse me. Or at least it had Vista on it. So that's not going to go so well because, as you see, this is a Molex system. It does have Serial ATA on the motherboard, though, and I'm hoping I can get those ports. I know in the BIOS this recognizes the ports, so I'm hoping I'll be able to get those set up without having to install crazy drivers or anything. But then again, if I get the motherboard chipset drivers, it should all be fine, right? We'll see. That's the fun of this. And also, getting the hard drive out of that computer over there is actually a complete pain in the butt. But without Molex, or without Serial ATA on here, on the power supply, what does it matter? Then I remembered I had this power supply, which I'd actually stripped from a machine, from another machine, to test another machine I was working on with, and it does have Serial ATA. So okay, cool. That solves that problem, but I still gotta get that hard drive out of there. Or do I? Because that's like a 60 gig in that other machine. And over here, we have a nice, what is it, 120? Where the heck is it on here? Yeah, a 250. What did I say, 120? What the hell? I'm tired. So this is also a Serial ATA hard disk. And what I'm gonna do is use this hard disk and swap out this stock power supply for this one, which is also a stock power supply, but from another computer, and everything should go perfectly fine, I hope. If it doesn't, oh well, that's the fun of doing this. So I was halfway through getting the new power supply in when I realized this connector. I don't know what the hell you call the main power connector on these things, but this one, not the same size. So this little 4-pin doodad will probably go right here just fine, I'm sure, whichever way it goes in. Which damn way does it go? That way? Probably. That way? Maybe. That way? Yeah, so see, that'll go in that way. So that's cool. This joker? Few too many pins. So that's not going to happen. Unless I was to, force it in there, which that ain't right. So I'm gonna have to rethink this and probably have to use a, I guess more than likely I'm just going to have to go on and use an old IDE hard drive. Problem is, all the IDE hard drives I have lying around are, 20 gigabyte, 40 gigabytes, and they're ancient, really. Crap. Okay. We'll see what the heck happens here. I'm going to need a hard drive either way, even if the, ATI card doesn't work at all. I'm still going to need a hard drive if I'm going to do anything with this computer, otherwise it's just going to stay a box for modding Xboxes, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm not in the mood to mod too many more Xboxes. Also, apparently I disconnected a fan, so there's that. Wonderful. Solution. We've got this 80 gigabyte Seagate that was in an Xbox at work that was modded, that we bought, didn't work. Bought it for the optical drive. So I took that on home, and yeah, presuming it's not locked, which considering this was a mod shipped Xbox, it's probably not. This should just slot in right there, need format, and should be good to go. And of course, since it's an original Xbox drive, it is an IDE connector, Molex and like for power. So, change out that power supply back to the original one, shove that on in, power it up, and just see what happens. See if I can attempt to install XP to it. And if I can, great. Start putting this back together. I'll probably conduct the XP install the motherboard drivers and all that ahead of time, get everything nice and running, and then install the ATI Wonder card. Should go alright, I hope. Okay, we've gotten somewhere. We're back to the stock power supply. I think I need to... No, I screwed it in. Cool. We've got a hard drive in. I used the original Xbox mounts for this little clip assembly, but it's in there. It ain't going anywhere. Still haven't taken out the FX 5200. Probably go on, remove the bracket over here and do that. And, yeah. So that should work. I guess I'll take it over to the main setup over there, power it up, maybe throw the XP install CD in there and see what happens. If this drive is unlocked, then we will be good to go. Might be getting further on this tonight than I planned to. Awesome. So moved into the living room for this test because I've actually got a little bit more space here. And it was beeping at me like crazy earlier. It would go beep for a second, wait 2 seconds, and beep, and rev all the fans at maximum. And when I changed where this cable was plugged into the floppy drive, it suddenly decided to work, so I don't know what the hell was up with that. But if we go to the screen, the system is at least starting to work. So I'll grab the USB drive for XP and we'll just see what the hell happens. I've still got the old FX5200 in here, so yeah, we'll find out. So far so good. Annoying, but good. Let's see what happens. Anything? Anything? Oh, there we go. Come on. Just trying to focus on the dust on the lens. Beautiful. Should clean that off. Well, we're getting the beginnings of the Windows XP setup. It's running slow as anything though, but that's okay. Setup can't find the EULA. What the fuck? And I'm just gonna double check this flash drive, make sure everything's good on it. Maybe change a different, use a different USB port. I'm too tired for this. Maybe I'll save it for tomorrow. Or keep working on it all night like an idiot. One or the other. In case anyone was wondering, there's the processor. And also we've got a slight problem of one of the RAM sticks isn't being recognized. I probably didn't put it back in right. And I think the system battery died because that was originally saying 2004, so this is gonna be a lot of work. Just love it. Well, I decided to see what would happen if I loaded up the flash disk with Puppy Linux on it, and after using gparted and the like, I was able to actually get SDA, well, the hard drive to actually show up. Had to be formatted, so I don't know what happened with the people messing with it on the Xbox. Unless it just completely ignored the Xbox format and said it was unallocated space. Whatever case, it formatted, so should be good to use. Looks like it's able to be written to, so awesome. We'll see what happens once I double check that XP flash drive, and maybe later tonight I'll keep trying this. Finally found another copy of XP and moved it on the flash drive, and I thought it was the same one I've used, but I guess it's not, because now it's complaining about upgrade rights. And it's supposed to be a full install, but whatever. I'll just throw a CD in there and we'll see what happens. Also, this thing decided to do that weird beeping at me again, and I still haven't figured out what the hell it is. I could go look up the error codes, but I'm not about to dig through, 12, 13-year-old tech support files that may be broken links anyway to try to read what a damn constant beeping error code is. Also, I don't know if reseating the RAM even did anything or not. One of those sticks may have failed, but we'll find out. So I go back, grab an actual copy of Windows ME that I happen to have, reboot, and it's doing this again. Starting to think something is wrong with this machine, and yes, this is intentionally unhooked, so I don't know, I'm gonna keep messing with it, we'll find out. This project may make it nowhere, but I knew that was a chance. Just in case it could be the cause of the issue, I've gone on and removed the original graphics card that was going to come out anyway, and it's got some webs on it as well. You can see some good ones right there, so who's to say it wasn't the cause of the problems? I mean, we weren't getting any video anyway, so it's entirely possible. We'll see what happens. This is fun. So it did boot correctly this time after I removed the card, but who knows, it might go into that crazy fit again. One thing I have noticed though is that it's still treating memory bank 0 as having nothing, and I've reseated both sticks of RAM, so I don't know if there's a dust bunny in there causing an issue or what. I mean, that might explain it posting odd, because usually that's a case of a RAM issue, but, you know, could have been the graphics card as well. I don't know. These things are weird. But right, I'll see if it'll get to XP. If it'll at least install XP, then I know I have a somewhat workable system, and we can continue with the next part. One of these days, maybe. As I mentioned a bit ago, when it gets to that part about wanting to upgrade, I've got Windows ME sitting here, because for some reason I found a copy, well, out and about. So when it gets to that, we'll see what it does. And my cat is wanting to investigate. Say hi again, boo. Yeah, I should probably move him. Just perfect. As soon as I get up and move the cat, we have this. Oh yeah, that is not right at all. Something is very, very wrong with this computer. Oh boy. So really, it's worth mentioning that, you know, how I mentioned this machine is rather spiderweb filled and the like. You can also see areas that have kind of rusted up. There's actually a bit over on the back end of this power supply as well. This machine has definitely been through some rough times. Stuff mostly looks okay, but you can see little hints of just odd gunk hanging around. Like, what even is that? This stuff on this cable is definitely not normal. I mean, I know the person who used to own this thing was a crazy cat lady. So it makes you wonder. There you go. You can actually see right there the bit of corrosion. So I can't quite tell you what's going on. I removed that stick of RAM just in case. I'm going to keep rebooting this thing and seeing what happens, but it might be a lost cause. And here's Kiki. Hi, Kiki. How are you? That makes 2 cats in the video. Can we get a third? Can we get Mimi in? Now, unless I drag her in here or I go out to film her, and I'm not about to do that. Right, back to this mess of a computer. And this is what I get after I power it up again. I reconnected the floppy drive to remove that stick of RAM, remove the graphics card, and it's still doing it. So if I move the one stick of RAM, you know, it's actually entirely possible that the stick I was moving was the bad, air quotes, bank of RAM and not the good one. So I'll move it. We'll try rebooting one more time, see what the hell happens. And if nothing else changes, I'm calling it done, because there's nothing I can do for this machine. Like I said, originally owned by Crazy Cat Lady. Nope, no change. So, I have no idea. I'm going to look at what I've got lying around and try to see what options I have, because I think this machine might have reached end of life. Well, this does mean I have an 80 gig hard drive that seems alright, so there's that. So for the sake of completeness, I wanted to show what was in the box for this junk. You got the card itself with a really loose heatsink. This is kind of weird. Like, that shouldn't be like that. Because I don't even know if this thing works or not. So this all could have been a waste, but that would have been the fun of it. The crazy-ass video connector it comes with the VGA and the composite out and the audio outs and crap. The input card that I mentioned earlier. Freaking FM antenna, because that's a thing. And this kick-butt remote. I mean, that's pretty cool. Would love to have played around with what it does. Looks like it has the universal remote, DVD, aux, yeah. So, this would have been really freaking cool, because would have been, you know, a nice 1 gig RAM, you know, however much gigahertz, you know, nice enough processor. Would have been alright. Would have been a cool little XP machine. Would have been nice for gaming. Has freaking, like I said, RF tuners. Would have been pretty kick-ass to just play around with. You know, that's the thing we love, us who mess with old PCs. I mean, you know, we do that kind of stuff. I got a freaking Commodore 128 right over there. I use it pretty regularly. It's like, this is an AGP card though, right? So, you know, accelerated graphics port. That's not a common port anymore. You know, now all you get is PCI Express 16, you know, standard modern stuff. I can't just shove this in a computer that's like, you know, past mid-2000s maybe. I don't think I have another computer that actually has AGP except for the Windows 2000 machine. And the worst part about that is the Windows 2000 machine that I have, its bigger tower companion was available. I could have bought one of those a few days later, and it was only like 10 bucks. But I didn't because we've been limited on space. We have not had space for anything recently. And it's like, what the hell can you do? So you pass up something and all of a sudden it ends up being the perfect thing. Because when I got this, I forgot that the desktop was a half-size machine. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. It sucks. Actually, here you go. Here's the Windows 2000 machine opened up. And you see it's one of those slimline little desktop affairs. I wrote about it on my website last year when I got it. Adiblasi, that's power supply. But it's, you know, a Dell business machine. But it's got the AGP right here, right? That's the important thing. Well, as you see, this is, let me come this way, it's kind of a small card, and I kind of can't fit this big, bloated monstrosity in there. That doesn't work at all. So, there ain't crap I can do. That's all there is to it. There's literally nothing I can do about this. And I'm glad this thing works as good as it does. I could change out the hard drive. That would be pretty cool, I guess. Go from the 20 or 30 gig that's in here to the 80 gig. But I mean, that still doesn't change the fact that I'm running with a basic graphics set. I don't even know what the graphics card on this thing is. I mean, I could boot the thing up and test, and I might throw it in there and mess around with it tonight because it's been a few weeks since I've used it, but, you know, what can you do? Could get more RAM. I need to take that sticker off that RAM, actually, now that I think about it. Whatever, it's not doing any harm. But yeah, this just sucks, because basically, all these plans to have a really kick-ass Windows 2000 machine with this card, can't do that right now, so I was like, let me throw in an XP machine. And the XP machine wants to be a piece of crap, so I guess I'm calling this a failed project. Just gonna splice all this together, upload it, and be like, hey, if you've watched this far, more power to you, you're kinda awesome. That's all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for bearing with me on this craziness. This shows you not every time someone tries one of these crazy projects online does it go so well. Take it easy. Have a great day. Just to prove how terrible my memory on stuff is, all the time I've been calling this a 5200. It's a damn 6200. Wonderful. Also, look at that layer of dust. Definitely not helping things. Probably should have cleaned this thing out beforehand, but you know, it is kinda late night and I kinda don't care as much as it may seem like I do. So this machine's been like this for years and it's worked fine before, so I don't know what's up. But yeah, 6200 instead of a 5200. Oh, look, out of focus. Out of focus. In focus. Up, out of focus. There's the point where it changes. Righto, that's the end of this. Later.